Peace and blessings. Welcome to the Sacred Wellness Alchemy Show. I'm Giovanna Tisdale, the Sacred Wellness Alchemist. What you're about to listen to is from my archives. Back when I was known as the Spiritual Love Healer, and my work was heavily focused on self-love, relationships, and matters of the heart. My podcast at that time was called the Spiritual Love Podcast. During 2020 to about 2022, that was a time when I was deep into the heart of my work, focused on love, relationships, healing, and matters of the heart. That season of my work planted seeds that are still blooming in everything I do today within Sacred Wellness Alchemy as the spiritual love or sacred love alchemy pathway. This conversation is still rich and relevant and exactly what we need to hear. So let's go back. You're listening to the Spiritual Love Podcast, helping you tune in to the frequency of love. The Spiritual Love Podcast is a podcast for women who want to get real about love and relationships while also focusing on healing, inner peace, and wellness. Through conversations and insights about love, dating, relationships, all matters of the heart, and more. I'm your host, Giovanna Tisdale, better known as the Spiritual Love Healer. I'm an intuitive healer, spiritual guide, and coach here to help you heal your heart so you can magnetize and manifest the love that you desire and deserve. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Spiritual Love Podcast. I am your host, Giovanna, the Spiritual Love Healer and founder of the Spiritual Love Sanctuary. I created this podcast as a space for us to explore love, relationships, dating, matters of the heart, and even life in a real way and in a spiritual way to really bring about healing and growth so that we can all experience the true essence of love. You'll often hear me refer to love as spiritual love, and that's because what we commonly think of as love has become tainted. A lot of us have been in toxic and unhealthy relationships. We've had maybe traumatic upbringing. So when we think about family, when we think about relationships, it's not always a pretty picture. And I really want to kind of rehab love in a way that we're thinking about it as the divine, as God truly intended it to be, which is it's a beautiful energy that is pure and it is loving and it recognizes the divine within all of us and the inclusivity of love. So many of us have experienced love that is conditional, like that, if you don't do this, or if you do that, or you need to be like this, and then I'll love you. And that's not love. Love is unconditional. And so I really want to create some conversations around this, as well as talk about ways to overcome some of the hurts and the challenges that we have experienced in relationships and life. So it's going to be a mix here on the Spiritual Love Podcast. We're going to have spiritual conversations about love, life, and everything in between. But I want it to be a place where we can get real so that we can focus on inner peace, healing, wellness, and so much more. So again, let's dive a little bit deeper into what spiritual love is. So as I talked about before, there is a definite reason why I put spiritual in front of the word love, and even in the title that I call myself, but we'll talk about that later. But that's really because I did not want it to be confused, and I really wanted to make a statement and a change in how we perceive love, how we relate to ourselves and each other. A lot of times when we talk about relationships and we talk about love, we think of it as being this external thing that's between us and someone else. And we forget that there's ourselves. We forget that there's our family members, our friends, the people we, are connected to through our profession, through our work. And, love has also gotten a really bad rep. When we think about it, we hear, pain is love. Love hurts, love is blind, and all of these things. So there's a lot of fear and negative energy around the word love, and that is a big problem. So I didn't want to just say love because also, I have been in an abusive relationship, And, once I got out of that and I started thinking and reflecting, like, what do I want in a relationship going forward? What do I want to call into my life? Being in an abusive relationship with someone who said they love me, I wanted to be very clear. Like, if that was love, then that's not the type of love I want. I was like, I want a divine love. I want something that's deep and meaningful and comes from a place of peace and protection, not negative, not filled with negativity or drama or deceit, because that has kind of become the norm in a way. So, because there's this big stain on love and how we relate to ourselves as well as each other, that's why I said I want a spiritual love. I don't want what I've experienced in the past as love. And so when we take love to this wider scope of, being spiritual, being much more than what we see like on the surface level, it opens the door for so much more. And I really want people to understand that love does not hurt. It's beautiful, it's deep and meaningful, and that it is an energy. And it does not always come from someone else. We think that love is something that we have to give or that someone has to give to us, and that's not the case. So we're definitely going to talk more about that. And I get it because it does feel good when we have a connection with another person. But ultimately, love is already planted within you when you were created. So, I just wanted to highlight what love is and really restore it back to its sacred nature so that we can start to see it from a place of healing and understanding versus the negativity. So spiritual love is really all about reclaiming the true intended purpose for love and really recognizing that, the divine or God, goddess is within yourself as well as being within others. And it's also about, recognizing that we are essentially spiritual beings, all created in the image of God, right here in the flesh. So when we start to treat ourselves differently with this awareness that I am love, with this awareness that, I am divinity, we start to treat others differently. And in return, we get treated differently. So spiritual love is also about going deeper with love and realizing that it's not just surface level. Within a relationship, it's also really getting to the matter of the heart, getting to truly know and understand someone. And it also recognizes that love is limitless, it's inclusive and unconditional. And I talked about this a bit earlier. We say that we love people, but we have so many conditions. I love you, but that's a condition, that's a limit. So anything after I love you, but is conditional. That is not love. And being that it's inclusive, it includes every being on this earth. Everything, everyone is worthy and deserving of loving. So I really wanted to encompass that. It's not, I'll only love you if you can do this, or I love you, but you need to change. It truly recognizes and accepts the divine in each of us. And that's what's really beautiful. So to me, love is spiritual, love is energy, it is divine, it's sacred, it's soulful, it's all encompassing. And, I see a lot of times where it's like love has become fleeting. It's like, oh, I love you today, and then tomorrow I don't love you. And it's just this like temporary, painful, back and forth, embarrassing situation. And that's not what truly love is. So the work that I do here, this podcast, and how I'm here to serve is to really restore love to its intended purpose. And so as we segue into me, I'm going to share a little bit about who I am, what the spiritual love healer is. So about me, again, I'm Giovanna Tisdale, currently residing in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm also known as the spiritual love healer, just a down-to-earth, woman who has experienced a lot of pain and trauma. And I transformed that into what I do now and who I've become. I was able to transmute that pain and rebuild my life and find purpose in all that I have had experienced. I've been in an abusive relationship. I, dealt with depression and anxiety. And so that journey, my own personal journeys of dealing with all of that, including sexual trauma, having issues with, confidence and self-esteem, started me on a journey to really heal myself and transform my life and relationships. And that led me to a lot of the tools that I use in my personal life and business for healing. And I was able to rebuild my life inside out from the ground up and really releasing all of that pain and rebirthing myself essentially into a happy, healthy, whole, loving woman that I am today. And I've been through a lot, and so I'll share a lot of those experiences here with you because a lot of times people feel like when you're in this position, or you're a healer or a coach, or you know something of that, that you're perfect and that your life is on this whole other level. And really, like, I still experience struggles. I just navigate them differently. And I don't ever want to come across as though like I'm speaking down from the top of the mountain, because I am in it with you, living and experiencing life. Just because, I have been on a spiritual journey and live my life differently does not mean that I am exempt from challenges. And so I want you to know that I am there with you. I am, sharing what I know as I continue to grow and develop, because I truly want to help others. So if I can reach back and save you from experiencing the things that I've experienced or help guide you through it, then that is what I'll do. Because a lot of times what happens is I see women who are much older than myself. And I mean, these are women who are in their 60s and 70s who are still living a life from a place of hurt, not knowing how to love themselves and holding on to a lot of pain and trauma because we didn't necessarily have these tools available in their generation, or they weren't widely known and accepted, or it was considered witchcraft and you were crazy if you were doing these things. And over the past 14 plus years, I've immersed myself in studying spirituality, religion, personal growth, aromatherapy, meditation, divination, coaching, wellness, finance, and a variety of healing methods. And I've gained so many skills and have overcome challenges that are really key to who I am. And my way of giving back is really sharing with you and helping others to process trauma, and really just helping people to heal their heart and truly love their life. And another thing that I wanted to mention, like, it's not, when I talk about spiritual love, it's not just about finding love. I know that's the goal for a lot of people, and I totally understand it. But it's also, about being love and really guiding you to heal, your heart and your mind, so that you can experience inner peace and wholeness and love within yourself, because that then radiates out into your relationships. So once we get into a place where we know who we are, we've healed and released the pain, you turn into a magnet for love and blessings. But as long as we're in a wounded space and we feel like we don't deserve, we stay in a space where we're kind of not necessarily blocking our blessings, but we're not open to receiving them. And so my passion and purpose is really to help women. And even as I am creating this, it's also extending out into working with men and children to really help them heal their hearts and their minds so that they can live, a life of love. So I am a certified Reiki master and a variety of forms of Reiki, including crystal Reiki, money Reiki, and Asetka, which is a form of Kemetic Reiki. I'm a master life coach, a crystal therapist, mindfulness practitioner, angelic healing practitioner, aromatherapist, certified angel card reader, psychic tarot coach, EFT practitioner, and then some. I love learning. I am a lifelong learner, and I'm always studying and expanding my knowledge, because that just, not only do I love it, but it allows me to really serve the people that I work with. And so when I talk about the spiritual love healer, it's not just a title, a fancy, cute title that I made up. For me, it's an affirmation, it's a declaration, it's a statement, it is a mission, and it gives me purpose, and it helps guide me in what I do on a daily basis. So, my goal for you today with this information is for us to connect. And also, I really want you to start looking at love in a different light. So, I want you to think about your relationships overall, your family, your friendships, how you feel about yourself, your romantic relationships, and really think about the love in those situations. Like, are they loving? Have you been loving? And, have they been balanced, where the flow, the exchange of love has been balanced? You were able to give and receive, or do you find that they've been imbalanced? Are your relationships straining? And if so, I also want you to reflect on yourself and what you think about love. Do you feel that love is already within you? Do you feel that it's something that someone else has to give you? Was it something that you didn't receive as a child? Like, really start to think about the love in your life and pay attention to your patterns and your mindset when you think about love and relationship. Often, I'm sure you've heard, like, our relationships are a reflection of us. Everyone is a mirror. And it can be a hard pill to swallow. And in fact, being in an abusive relationship, one of the biggest things that I had to admit and forgive myself for was taking part in the situation. And I know that it can be a challenge for other people to hear that, but this is my truth. And because I was in that relationship, because of things that maybe I did or did not do, on some level, I allowed myself to be abused. I was not loving myself enough to know that I didn't deserve this. Like, I could have walked away at the first sign of aggression, of issue within the relationship, but I chose to stay. And so one of the biggest pills that I had to swallow is that was a mirror to me. And that's what I felt that I deserved at that time. And that was truly, truly painful. But it was when I realized that's when I started to take my power back. That's when I started to say, oh no, like, I deserve better. I did not deserve that. And now that I know better, I can navigate life differently. I know the areas where I was weak mentally and emotionally. And now I can start to work on those things and really start to overcome those challenges, so that I don't put myself back into a situation with someone who will be unkind and unloving to me. And so it's very important for me to hold space for others to heal and really help guide them. And creating the Spiritual Love podcast is just another way that I am able to do that. So I want to talk about some of the different things that you're going to see on the show. So I'm going to be on here just having conversations like we're doing today. I'm also going to have guests come on the show. We're going to have segments where you can call in and ask questions. I'll be doing some divination card readings and things like that on the show. And I'm just super excited and blessed, because instead of this being just a traditional podcast, it's going to be just like this creative mash of experiences brought to you through audio format. So I'm really excited. And once I have everything set up for you to call in and ask your questions, and we can talk live, and it's just going to be amazing. And I'm super excited and cannot wait to really get the ball rolling and start sharing with you from my heart, because this is what I truly love. And it's so funny because I remember being a little girl and watching the Ricky Lake show and of course Oprah, and I was like, I want my own talk show. I'm gonna have my own talk show. And this is just one format of that, but I definitely see it on a grand scale where yes, I will have a talk show. So hold that space for me to manifest my greatness, and I will be holding space for you to manifest your greatness. So, because I love working with my oracle decks and tarot decks, I pulled two cards. Well, actually, I pulled one card for the podcast. I wanted to see what the energy of the podcast was, and the card that came up was Wolframite. And the energy of this crystal, so these are crystal cards that I pulled, is confidence, goals, amplification, wishes, and boldness, which absolutely resonates with what I want to do with this podcast. I peeked at the another card, and the card that showed up was rose quartz, and this is all a crystal about love. Like rose quartz is known as like the love crystal. And it also helps to encourage appreciation and connection. And so some other words attached to that are innocence, daydream, intuition, and knowing. And this to me is a sign that this is needed, that I am on the right path, and that definitely my intentions will be manifested through this podcast. So as you're listening to this, not only will that energy radiate out to you, it's going to help you to rise above whatever you're experiencing in your life with confidence, and help you to expand into and to amplify your goals, your desires, and your thoughts. So this is going to be a place where we amplify love, where we build our confidence, where we manifest our wishes, and we move out into the world boldly and courageously with love. So I am inviting you on this spiritual love journey through this podcast, where we're going to have conversations about love, about life, and everything in between. I cannot wait to hear from you. I can't wait to have you on the show, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time. Before closing out, I wanted to share a quick reflection. Listening back to this episode really made my heart warm and made me smile, because that energy of the spiritual love healer and spiritual love is still very much the heart of what it is that I do. And it is just one of the pathways within Sacred Wellness Alchemy. You can visit JavonnaTisdale.com/ask to submit any questions or confessions. You can also visit my website, JavonnaTisdale.com/guest, if you are interested in being a guest on the show. Thank you so much for listening. I have many more episodes from the archive that I will be sharing, and I hope that this has helped you see love differently too. Peace. As we close, take a moment to come back into your body, noticing your breath, and feel where you are right now. Thank you for being here with me. This is the Sacred Wellness Alchemy Show, where we heal, grow, thrive, and live abundantly ever after. Peace.